pry the bark off. And so just...
What you do is you get the blade underneath the wood and pull back as hard as you can so that way you can get the bark off the tree, and then just start on another strip. That's it.
After we debark the wood, we set up a center line, and then we nailed pieces of wood on either end of the log to lay out lines on the side of the log that were level and would go along with our square that we made at the end. And then we used chainsaws to make marks all along the wood, and we used axes and the like to then cut off the pieces of wood separated by the chainsaw marks.
To create the 4 sides, we had to use skill saws of various sizes. Some were more efficient than others. After doing so, we relied on the original side, which was level, and then we used squares such as this square here to make other sides level, and then that's what we're currently doing, make other sides level. Then we can move on.
How we basically figured out the process of finding where the distance is for the width of the log was we would take the circle that we already drew and find from the center of the circle out to one of the sides. We would bring it to the board and we would draw the circle, and from there we would try and make a square around it. After making the square, we would find the center line on each of the parts of the square and then cut the square into 4ths. Then we would take our compass again, we would put one point in the center and one point on one of the 90-degree angles, and we would swing it around to find out where we needed to make our marks to make the log 8-sided.
After we make the square, we're going to move on to making 8 sides. After we make 8 sides, we move on to making 16 sides. And instead of moving on to 32 sides, which is a little more complicated and necessary, we will make it round using handheld manual planners.
Make a series of just kind of scribbles on it. And then that, I wasn't very careful. Go back and forth.